Yo dog, Kenny Boucher here, Next Level Painting, hitting you up with another painting tutorial on the literal best of all days. Today, we're going to be doing part 2 of painting these Emperor's Children Rhinos. Last week, I showed you the cheat codes. We got our Game Genie out, our Super NES, and we plugged in some sick codes, and we got 30 extra lives. Today, I'm going to show you how to take it to the tournament standard. This is something we've been doing a little bit of here. Like, this is not the first time we've done this. I am trying to perfect a more digestible way of doing my videos and my tutorials, and it's all thanks to you guys. The comments, the criticisms, the Patreon page where you guys have been pledging money to me on my personal crowdfunding page. That has been so helpful, I can't even tell you guys. While I'm on the subject, I want to shout out a couple of new patrons, Dominic and Parker. Thank you guys. People like you help me do this. Like, this is not easy to do. This is obviously not, like 1,000 million times before I've said this. Don't do it for money, but it takes money to do this. And because of you guys, I was able to order a pizza this month. Huge step in the right direction. So I do want to talk a little bit about the longwar.net. Obviously, can't do a video without talking about that. That is the home of the battle reports and exclusive early access to all these videos and more. Check it out on thelongwar.net. End of advertising transmission. Let's begin this tutorial. Let's do this thing. Let's take these rhinos up to the tournament standard. We're going to kick it off with Molten Bronze from P3. This is one of my favorite colors. This ancient Chinese trick. We're going to apply probably just one thick coat. I'm not going to lie. This isn't a multiple thin coats thing. This is a liberal coat. These paints cover very well, even if you water them down a little bit for more coverage. They just are really good paints. They're really thin consistency, but they're really thick in the coverage aspects. So we're going to go through, and I always love to start here with my golds for the most part, because this gold just covers. People oftentimes hit me up with, like, how do you get your gold to look so fresh? Gold's so lame. Most golds don't have good coverage, but this gold has stick. And obviously it's bronze, not gold, but like I've said a million times, bronze is just dark gold. Don't get it twisted. So make sure to get those little ridges that are like in the three-dimensional angle of any icon on top of a vehicle. Sometimes you'll get like hyper caught up in the 2D element. So you see I'm coming up on those top ridges, those shelves, so that when I come through later with the wash, I don't miss anything. And obviously we got some sweet Emperor's Children Forge World add-ons on this Rhino. I'm so glad my client went with these. At least, obviously these aren't 30K Rhinos, but we needed something, and in a pinch, I think this works. So, like I said, same deal. And I mean, look at this. Like, I'm literally almost out of Molten Bronze. I have to order new stuff. I just watered it down, and look how much coverage I got out of it. We're going to jump right into Arcane Blue. This is one of the best colors in the business. And we're going to lay down the foundations for some sweet little window effects inside of these little, I don't know what to call this, window armor. We're going to apply it pretty liberally, nice and wet, because we're going to come back and we're going to quickly wet blend it once we lay down the foundation. And you can see I've done this before. I applied the brass to the outer frame. I probably should have started with this color, but at least I remembered. I was like, wait, throw the glass in there before you do the bronze, because you're going to get that arcane blue all over the fucking framework. So it's one of those not paint by numbers. Like, go in there, be sloppy, get it in there. Get a little bit of white on your paintbrush and just do a quick fat, transition in there. Like, don't go to town, because later I would use a glaze to seal a deal on these window effects. So don't have to go crazy in there and try to blend some amazing window effects. I'm just doing like a two-tone simple highlight in there. It's pretty subtle, and it'll look great with like a Gillian blue glaze from GW's if you wanted to. I mean, you don't even have to. So now that we've laid down that window, let's come back into the bronze, come back in, lay down a nice little frame. And you see, I didn't even let the arcane blue dry all the way yet. Like, I'm getting some of this bronze in the blue, and I'm just like, who cares? Like, it literally doesn't matter. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to use washes. This just shows you like how much art there is to this and how little science there is. Like, it'll work just fine, because a little bit of blue getting in your gold is going to change anything. So we're going to come in real quick, and we're going to paint these classic Space Marine line art. That I don't even know why most Space Marine vehicles have this type of design work, but it kind of forces you to paint something in here, like a stripe. So black is my go-to. It's one of the easiest things and also works for Emperor's Children. I'm using some Abaddon black, which is pretty rare for me to use a GW color, but I just had some laying around. Literally black is black. Don't worry about it. Use the one that you have on your desk. It usually is going to work out just fine. I'm coming in with kind of a big brush, a little watery, a little thin, and I'm going to probably do multiple thin coats here because you don't want to have too many like brush strokes, but I will show you at the end of next week's video how to take all elements of this tank to that next level. Like, we're just doing a tournament standard here. This is kind of a new theme for us, is do one tournament standard video followed by take it to the next level, take it to that showcase, right in between showcase and top level tournament army. Real quick before I get off track, gun gray. This is a Vallejo air color. This is the shiznit. It is such a good color, lays down so easy. I'm addicted to the gun gray or the gun metal. I'm gonna come in there and just paint these little headlight dealies, paint them all metal. Literally doesn't matter. Like I said, we're just trying to get to that tournament standard. We're trying to have a decent looking vehicle with a nice transition, have all the colors that we're required to have. But we're not doing just a 3-color minimum, as you can tell by just the transitions in the purple. We've done a lot more than the minimum. Another ancient Chinese trick, we're going to hit you up with Typhus Corrosion, and we're going to liberally apply this to the tracks. This is something you've seen us do before. Since this is an Emperor's Children vehicle and it's not going to be all rusted out, I am not going to use my traditional RZA rust and come back in there. I'm going to lean on Typhus Corrosion as kind of the dirt, and I'll come back in with a little bit of metal to just chip it up. So we're going to be doing a very clean Imperial paint job, which has kind of been the theme of these 30K Emperor's Children. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, we did a Contemptor pattern Dreadnought. We took it from Tournament Standard to the next level. And now we're doing the same thing with Rhinos. And just to be straight with you, I'm painting 2 Rhinos at once right now. I'm not just wasting a whole day painting 1 Rhino. I spent an afternoon airbrushing these, and I filmed that for you. Because last week we did the cheat codes to getting a project laid out. I spent just a quick afternoon on that. And in just one day, I finished both of these Rhinos at the same time to the actual next level standard. And today, I'm just showing you tournament standard. Here's an ancient Chinese technique. So obviously we went through with all that Typhus Corrosion, hit all those tracks, but I'm using a little pluck and pull foam to sponge chip some Typhus Corrosion up into the undercarriage of the Rhino. While that's drying, we're going to go to all of our metal add-on pieces, our cupolas, our storm bolters, and our smoke launchers. And you'll see that I put these on double stick tape. Like I said again, check out last week's video. I show you the cheat codes of pro painting and where we laid all this out and how we got it done so easily using a bunch of Army Painter primers. And we're just going to come through, like I said, they already were washed in last week's episode. They were already, primed, and now we're just dry brushing them with some Army Painter metal that matches the Army Painter primer. We're going to glue on those smoke launchers. Look how easy it is. Imagine if you had to glue all that shit in and just try to paint that shit. That shit is so fucking lame. That's how we used to do it, honestly, before we had any kind of game science behind painting our models. It's like we wanted it to be hard back in the day. And now I just want my models to look fresh. And I want to enjoy myself while I paint them, but I don't want to kill myself afterwards, if that makes sense. So we're going to take these hatches. Like I said, we showed you how to paint these last week. We showed you the cheat codes. And I'm going to go real quick, paint the hinges on these things using the same Vallejo gun gray metal. Just paint a nice solid color. We'll come back in later and wash these and throw a little couple highlights on them. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about taking it to that tournament. As long as we get those colors on there and they're nice and clean, it's a tournament ready. So, obviously I'm going to do a clean smokestack paint job here. A lot of times I'll blast these up with the airbrush or go insane on them. But I'm trying to keep things a little crisper, like I said, on the Emperor's Children. And you can see it's coming along. It's basically tournament ready right now. If you were a bit more of a slacker than me, you could say this was done. But if your whole army was painted to this standard right here, I wouldn't be mad at you for bringing that to a tournament. But obviously, I'm going to show you a couple more techniques before we call it tournament standard. We have to do the whole Typhus Corrosion bit again. We're going to do it on the smokestacks, just real subtle. And we're also going to get into those vents, those cooling vents on the outer framework of the Rhino, because we do want to do a couple of more accents, because we don't want, we wouldn't want to take this to a tournament and have someone feel like we didn't do any work. Like, I'm not fucking with you guys. I spent one afternoon laying this stuff out and priming it and doing the airbrush work. You saw that last week. And in just one, like, 5-hour period, I took those vehicles to the absolute next level. And at the end of this video, I'll show you what the next level looks like. But today, I'm going to walk you through the tournament standard because that's how we've been breaking up our videos lately. We're going to quickly dry brush some metal on the dried Typhus Corrosion on these tracks. You've seen me do it before. This is a more subtle technique though. You've seen me go gangster in the past. Just go insane with the RZA Rust, go super gangster with the oxide effects. That is not the case here. We're just trying to create kind of a dirty track, like dirt, a little bit of grime. Not trying to simulate rust or corrosion, just nice tracks that are in heavy use. Same deal, hit them on the sides. You want to come in there, dry brush them, get inside the wheel wells, go to town. And you can see as I'm doing this, that it's like, oh, how do you get the all the chipping that we did with the Typhus Corrosion? Like, what are you going to do there? You're just going to dry brush that because it doesn't seem like a really dry brushable surface. And I'll show you here in just a second. We're going to pull out the ancient Chinese technique again, and we're going to use that sponge yet again to take us to that next spot. And in the past, I've done this with all the browns. I've done this with all the blacks. I've gone crazy with the chipping pattern. Typhus Corrosion changed my life. One pass Typhus Corrosion, one pass with the metal, and you have a very realistic effect. And here it is. Pull out your plug and pull foam, get a little metal on it, and I'll tell you, here's a pro tip right here. Get as much of that metal off the sponge as possible. You want it to be dry. You don't want it to you don't want a feather touch to release any of the metal onto the vehicle. You will fuck it up. You want it to be like dry brush technique, but with foam. Moving on to the front part here, you can see now I'm having to press really hard with the sponge. Like, that's where I want to be at. I never want to be, I want to be in between the two, but this is safer than it just coming right off. And you can see how I'm just using different techniques to download that metal onto the tracks. And we're basically almost there. Once we get into these cooling towers, I think we're going to call it tournament standard. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that Typhus Corrosion again. We're going to fill up these little towers with it. We're going to drag it out just a little bit. Going to pile it on, like I said, very liberal. Let it dry, obviously, because it does take a while to dry, and it can survive a pretty thick first pass. Typhus Corrosion is pretty sweet like that, where you don't have to build it up. But if you do want to build it up, you will get some righteous effects out of it. But like I said, we're going for a cleaner and a fresher look. We're only trying to apply the soot where the soot should be. Smokestacks, treads, etc. And now you're going to see ancient Chinese trick again. We're going to sponge some of that Typhus Corrosion on just to create some more dynamic, a little bit dirt, a little bit more soot. We don't want it to be super uninteresting in these towers. We do want there to be a little bit of weathering, like I said, only where you can see it's believable. You know, like if I was doing a Nurgle vehicle, we'd be going to fucking town here. And you've even seen me go to town on vehicles that weren't Nurgle. You know, we've done some pretty serious shit in the past. And you can see it's dry. We dry brush some of that metal on. It looks fresh. And here's a sneak peek from next week. This is what the vehicles are going to look like when we take them to the next level. I'm going to show you how to do all those little copula window effects on the Storm Bolter, on the Copula. I'm going to show you how to do all those fresh ass highlights. We're going to highlight that all the gold trim. We're going to put the scratch marks into the front plates. We're going to take this to the absolute next level. But after today, if you follow today's steps, you can easily bring multiple Space Marine style vehicles to the table in just 1 or 2 days. Like literally, if you just made it your weekend project, you can get a Gladius Strike Force tournament ready in a solid, Saturday and Sunday, like all days. Anyway, thanks for checking out this video. I will be on the road here really soon. Gonna be headed out to LA here soon. Gonna be on the road, I think, between March 2nd to probably even March 5th. I will have the second part of this video, or the third part of this video, where we take this Rhino to the next level. I'll have that ready for you guys, but I also might have a mini featurette video where we prepare a Death Company Marine for painting. Anyway, peace out, homies. Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos,